Ferrari are coming into the 2025 season with quite a few hope regarding each of the championships, and now it looks like they'll have the technological discovery to show that they might do it, with a 202's model of the auto being 99% new. Can Ferrari assignment McLaren in a fierce war for the front? And if so, can the Maranello organization show the region that they're equipped for the championship? Glory, one of the most interesting businesses in 2025 goes to be Ferrari. Now, not truly because of the fact they've the most effective pair upon the grid. However, moreover, because they'll have a present-day below the same ground impact regulated generation. Whilst it's far tough to anticipate that a whole lot of earnings can be made, now not something's modified for 3 years. Ferrari are advantageous, that they will be the leader of the grid, with the present-day technique in 2025. McLaren may additionally have lots to say approximately this, but whether or not, they'll obtain fulfillment within the hunt. With younger and formidable drivers, time will inform Ferrari. Then again, have a 7-time world champion. It has been quick to adapt to their machinery, as well as a hungry-driven LA, who has everything to show to the F1 International, beating Hamilton as your teammate, and winning the championship in 2025 will honestly located Eliar on a pedestal that he can also want to only have dreamt of with Ferrari. And the fact that the group is coming close to the ultra-modern season with a contemporary day idea goes to show that they may know something that we do now. Not in phrases of the behavior of the car. Some of this want to be associated with the appearance of Loic. Sarah, who's the technical chassis director of Ferrari, and the man who's almost responsible for the whole aerodynamical interplay of the automobile with the opportunity additives in it, Hamilton believes that numerous Sarah's revel-in may be carried out in 2025, and even though modern-day reviews stated that Ferrari are already targeted on the 2026 season, with a massive part of the tests allocated for the newly regulated technology, 2025 is going to be a championship competing season for the Maranello-based Really squad. Fred Varer has been adamant that a number of adjustments are coming inside the next couple of months, and whether or not, they may be going to be fruitful, time will inform. Elaborating in addition on this volume, the Frenchman said, "I suppose the method this 1 year has been incredible. Although we encountered troubles in July, the organization's response became great. We in no way blamed absolutely everyone or a department, but we labored together to find out solutions among the super businesses, and it definitely went properly. Of course, it had been better to not have had problems. However, I assume the response have become top, and that's what we assume for the future if we need to combat for the championship, be that as it may. There are huge changes that Ferrari finished at the SF25, and the most crucial one is the adoption of the pull rod suspension. Ferrari have determined to take a look at a style it has been set through McLaren and Red Bull, and this is typically because the group believes that on the equal time, because the suggestions were strictly beneath manage for the beyond couple of years, they may discover greater average ordinary performance out of the challenger in the event that they searching for within the proper areas, however with extremely good energy, and quest comes high-quality responsibility, as Ferrari will in all likelihood be confronted with a completely tough venture in advance of them. Each pass massive, and win all of it in a dominant style, or make a critical mistake that might push you once more from the very beginning. And then you definitely detention on 2026 as early as viable. It is probably the worst-case situation for Hamilton, who will in the long run have a risk to compete for regular wins, notwithstanding the fact that the largest paradox is that he gained races in 2024. The 12 months he added his departure for Mercedes after his remaining race win inside the 2021's Jeddah Grand Prix. What Ferrari are aiming to do with the adoption of the pull rod suspension is to do away with the limitations that the automobile had within the past couple of years. And whilst the system itself isn't a trivial venture due to the complexity to location, the automobiles inside the proper running window. It is a project that they're organized to cope with. Irrespective of the price, the most essential problem that the group had in the past and Ferrari had been a part of it too, however, with a brilliant keep near and know-how of it, with a tire manipulate, it have grow to be very tough for any crew to be, had to put the vehicle inside the right working window because it's very small. And we see from squads like Red Bull that this might be a brilliant difficulty, moving ahead to 2025 further. To 2026, Fred Ver has been very bold almost about the car's changes in 2025, irrespective of being closely criticized for spending an excessive amount of time and money at the last season of this period, even as 2026 is poised to be the 12 months of Ferrari and Mercedes. But after completing second in the Constructor Championship in 2024 and excellent a handful of factors within the again of McLaren in award had end up taken all of the way proper, all the way down to the last race in Abu Dhabi. You will assume that viewer would possibly take transport of nothing, an awful lot, a whole lot less than every championships. As he said, we're within the fourth 12 months of software of this law regulation, and we understand our previous challenge very well for that reason. The 2025 automobile can be surely new. It is true that now, while you expand the automobile, now and again, you moreover can also take a few dangers through introducing updates. And it's far something that has affected anybody. But it's far the manner you react in this situation that becomes vital whether or not, Ferrari should skip this challenge. In a right fashion, time will tell. But the changes to the car aren't going to be done to the entire concept. For example, the inner mechanics of the automobile have not changed. And in place of keeping the equal stuff as closing 365 days, Ferrari have determined to make small and precise evolutions. Inside the objectives of the 202's Challenger unique agencies have come to particular solutions. Ions. For instance, Williams have redistributed the rear stop of the auto, but not like the Grove, primarily based, definitely, absolutely squad. The cooling of the SF25 has now not surpassed via any changes nor rearrangements the cooling layout, but will exchange to comply to the brand new chassis. And while the revolution may not be similar to the quality that Red Bull made regarding to the 2024 vehicle with an earth-shattering idea, it is however going to be impactful, and one that could have, to adapt to the brand new chassis of the car Ferrari, have understood that that is too massive of a threat to take for his or her non-public development, and as opposed to going deep and risking to cope with those cooling modifications, like Red Bull, a familiar weight affiliation inside the middle of the auto, is going to be applied at the SF25. And it isn't always a twist of fate that Ferrari's crew essential referred to, that the team will preserve amazing 1% of their car. The identical. It is almost in a literal. This means that due to the fact the air intake of the automobile will stay triangular, much like the roll hoop, the characteristic has been finished on the F175, the 2022 vehicle, or even earlier than that at the SF90. Because of this that Ferrari believes at this, a part of the Challenger that brings them overall performance and does no longer take away something from the behavior of the car, releasing up exceptional areas on the automobile with a purpose to optimize the airflow, and the connection with the relaxation of the auto has been a situation for all agencies, and for instance Ferrari and their client groups. Sabre and H have decided to centralize the center of gravity through moving the gearbox oil radiator to the middle of the car. The air intake has a purpose of bringing air to the engine and the vents, as an alternative can be accountable for the flow into of the air in the aspect pods. Another time, a vital aerodynamic phenomenon that would make the device of setting the auto within the right running window lots much less tough. There is probably a few awesome problems that Ferrari might also moreover ought to interest on, however, and this is the behavior of the drivers and the team battles that would carry an horrible power to the crew in advance than predicted. Although it was expected for Elier to be the excellent chief within the first season, with Ferrari as teammates with Hamilton. The model technique for the 7-time international champion has long passed on extraordinarily well, and we do realize for a truth that he might not provide in clean time to the Monegasque purpose force. If he has the auto in his arms, sure factors of Hamilton's regular typical overall performance need to be addressed collectively, with the simplest lap performance that could display essential as to in which he ought to emerge as on Sunday. And despite the fact that Ferrari are not worried about this era of Hamilton's fashionable standard overall performance, the situation is genuinely looking strong from the issue of the 7-time international champion. He cited simplest incredible data from the SF23 and the SF24, and in spite of the truth that we do have a lot of statistics to approach, in the next couple of weeks, mainly given the reality that the SF25 may be a current device. Loads could be found in terms of conduct of the automobile beneath sure situations. Few have lengthy long gone at once, to the amount of saying that Hamilton can also have 3 races to reveal himself earlier than Group. Orders are going to apply, as Ferrari may be clever to keep away from a situation like McLaren final year, wherein they did now not something but complicate topics inside the Purpose Pressures Championship via manner of expertise that they'll be inside the real combat too late in the season. With all of this in mind, do you found that the new concept of Ferrari could deliver them the primary championship for the purpose that 2007, and similarly importantly, who do you receive as real, with you studied, may also have a greater chance of prevailing it? Lear or Hamilton allow us to apprehend within the feedback underneath, and if you want to recognize greater approximately the approaching skills in Red Bull and the chance that Tsunoda has abruptly placed himself in, ensure to click at the video. It's far acting for your display show proper now.